Welcome to Tulsa. Local time is 12:15. On behalf of your New York-based Ed Kerr and your Dallas-based Kevin Kerr, it has been a pleasure serving you.
In 1921, a neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma called the Greenwood District was a bustling community of Black-owned businesses. Tulsa locals know that period of Greenwood's history as a kind of golden age.
If you can imagine just like an old-time downtown, things like movie theaters, pharmacies, hair salons, and so forth.
They called it Black Wall Street.
It was a mecca. It was a huge success.
But Black Wall Street was also an anomaly. It thrived at a time when the KKK was incredibly active in Oklahoma, and the nation had just been through the Red Summer of 1919, when white mobs murdered Black people in dozens of incidents across the U.S. Something terrible happened here.
Black Wall Street Gallery. So nice. Wow. I'm about to go in there. Okay. There you go, Greenwood. Greenwood. There go the street. Here you go, right here, Greenwood. This is it. North Greenwood Avenue. Okay. Area once called Black Wall Street. Okay. And the museum is still open. Oh, yeah.
And for decades, people didn't talk about it.
I was an adult before I ever heard about it. It was something that was hidden.
This entire historic community was obliterated.
Bodies dumped in rivers, bodies dumped in mass graves. It was an absolute massacre.
This story isn't one you'll find in most history books. And almost 100 years later, the facts of what exactly happened that day are still unraveling.
Welcome to Greenwood. That's the historic church. Oh, there you go. Black Wall Street. The Tulsa Massacre.
This was the strategy, if you will, of how to deal with these communities, with these successful Black communities. The effects were disastrous.
More than 1,200 homes were destroyed and 35 blocks burned.
Oklahoma State University, Tulsa, Langston University, Tulsa.
On the postcards, it's called the Tulsa Race Riot, a name that itself sort of erases what really happened.
By calling it a riot. It's a way of trying to rewrite the history, assuming that there were both sides at fault, and that was not the case. I call it a massacre, and I call it that because that's what it was.
Bodies is done. A century, it's been 100 years.